Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, committee. Thank you all for being here today as we convene the inaugural meeting of the Labor and Workforce Development Committee. It is both an honor and a privilege to chair this committee alongside my fellow counselors, Vice Chair Mitch Green, Counselor Jamie Dunphy, Counselor Steve Novick, and Counselor Samir Kanal. We are also joined by Colleen McClemont, and I'm going to get your name right before the end of this year, from the clerk's office, and Megan Lehman from Council Operations. Thank you for being here. Together, we will be embarking on a critical effort to strengthen our workforce, support equitable job opportunities, and to ensure that every Portlander has the chance to not only survive, but to thrive in this city. Today's agenda sets the foundation for our work ahead. First, we will hear from the Bureau of Human Resources Department on the current state of the City of Portland's workforce. Understanding our strengths, our gaps, and opportunities is crucial as we look to the future to ensure our city bureaus have the skills and competencies needed to serve our community effectively. We will also hear from the Public Safety Service area to discuss workforce development within the police and fire departments. Public safety is a pillar of our city's success, and we must ensure these critical roles are filled with skilled, dedicated professionals who reflect the diversity of the communities in which they serve. As we chart the course for this committee, I want to highlight three key priorities that will be my priorities moving forward. Number one, investing in job training and workforce development. We must expand access to internships, apprenticeships, and job training programs that equip our employees and Portlanders with the skills needed for today's economy. Creating direct pipelines to living wage careers will strengthen our local economy and uplift historically marginalized communities. Advocating for labor rights and equity, that'll be my second priority, because I believe that workers deserve fair wages, safe working conditions, and strong labor protections. This committee will explore ways to strengthen workers' rights within city government and the broader Portland workforce, ensuring that everyone, especially BIPOC workers, has an equitable path to success like everyone else. Number three, fostering an inclusive employment practices. A diverse and inclusive workforce is essential to a thriving Portland. We will work to remove barriers to employment, promote equitable hiring practices, and ensure that underrepresented communities have access to high-quality jobs in both the public and private sectors. I reject the notion that Portland is a city destined for doom and gloom. We have the tools, the talent, and the opportunity to rebuild and revitalize and lead. The work of this committee is not just about jobs, it's about economic justice, community stability, and a future where every Portlander can prosper. I want to thank our presenters for joining us today and for helping us to set the stage for this committee's work. I look forward to an informative and an engaging discussion. Since this is our first committee meeting, I'm going to depend on Keelan to especially guide us through this agenda. Please bear with us if we run into any rough patches today. And if you have any comments or responses following this meeting, please reach out to my policy aide, Joel Cochran. Joel, could you stand up, please? Thank you. He has the beautiful purple shirt on again today. Keelan, will you please call the roll?
Dunphy.
Here.
Pinal.
Here.
Novick.
Here.
Green.
Here.
Smith.
Here. Megan, will you please read the statement of conduct, please?
Yes, thanks, Chair. Welcome to the meeting of the Labor and Workforce Development Committee. To testify before this committee in person or virtually, you must sign up in advance on the committee agenda at www.portland.gov/council/agenda/labor-and-workforce-development-committee or by calling 311. Information on engaging with the committee can be found at this link. Registration for virtual testimony closes 1 hour prior to the meeting. In-person testifiers must sign up before the agenda item is heard. If public testimony will be taken on an item, individuals may testify for 3 minutes unless the chair states otherwise. Your microphone will be muted when your time is over. The chair preserves order. Disruptive conduct such as shouting, refusing to conclude your testimony when your time is up, or interrupting others' testimony or committee deliberations will not be allowed. If you cause a disruption, a warning will be given. Further disruption will result in ejection from the meeting. Anyone who fails to leave once ejected is subject to arrest for trespass. Additionally, the committee may take a short recess and reconvene virtually. Your testimony should address the matter being considered. When testifying, state your name for the record. If you're a lobbyist, identify the organization you represent. Virtual testifiers should unmute themselves when the clerk calls your name. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Megan. We do have a packed agenda today, and we will depend on Keelan to keep us aware of the time. But I still encourage all of us to ask questions along the way, committee members. I certainly have a number of questions as well. And Keelan, can you read the first agenda item?
Item number 1, committee member priorities.
So we're going to start with Vice Chair Mitch Green. Councilor Green, can you start off with your priorities?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, it's a privilege and an honor to serve on this committee as the Vice Chair. I ran on labor being the center of our recovery story in this city, and I'm glad I have an opportunity to lead alongside you. Just briefly, my priorities for this committee, my hopes and dreams for this committee can be divided into 3 broad buckets. The first is I would like this committee to be the venue where we review from a programmatic perspective all of our procurement and contracting policies, any project labor agreement and community benefit agreements, regional equity agreements, all of that together to ensure that those policies are strengthening and not weakening our unions in this city. So that's my first priority. The second is I want to use this committee to advance workforce development. So I think in that regard, we're very aligned on this, which is good to have in a leadership team. What that looks like to me is I would like to explore opportunities to provide like a pipeline for young people to get jobs and then move that into a trade and a career. I think oftentimes, you have a choice between college or the Army or the Marines. I think you should have an opportunity between college and a very strong working class family wage job. The other piece I see is developing a climate core, like a jobs core that's really sort of based upon ecological restoration. So again, I feel like if you want to work in this city to make our community more ecologically resilient, I think that you should be able to find a job doing that. And I think that's a good opportunity to use our Portland Clean Energy funds to support that work. And then finally, you can't talk about economic development in this city without talking about labor. And so if we're going to have this be the place where firms want to come invest, they're only going to do that if they've got a strong labor force here. So our work in this committee can strengthen the development of our labor force here. And then the third broad committee priority I have is I want this committee to be a venue where we hear directly from labor. Okay, so right now we're going to enter a very difficult budget talk and season, and I think we should be involving rank and file members of the workforce that makes this city run, and they should be able to provide us comments on what they think about this rather than it kind of go through the administrative side. and trickle down from the top, right? So I know that there are great ideas on how to address our budget challenges that come from CPPWU. I know that there are great ideas that for ProTech and AFSCME and beyond. And so I would like us to hear from our labor partners in this committee as well. So I'll stop talking and I'll yield.
Thank you, Counselor Green. How about Counselor Novick? Give us your priorities.
Thank you, Chair Smith. The chair and the co-chair have already articulated priorities that I agree with. I just want to mention a few specific things that I hope we can deal with in this committee. As far as our contractors are concerned, I want to be sure that we're making sure that we are enforcing the principles of the Regional Workforce Equity Agreement and our labor peace policy. I've heard from some of our labor partners that that hasn't always happened. As Vice Chair Green said, we want to hear directly from labor. I would hope we hear directly from labor about some of those instances where those policies aren't being followed, and we should do something about it. The city, since I was here 10 years ago, the city, as I understand it, has made some progress in terms of workers with disabilities, improving the processes by which they can seek accommodation. But it's also my understanding that not everybody in the city with a disability knows what their rights are or what procedures are available to them. I want to shine a light on that and make sure that people know their rights, are prepared to ask for them and know the procedures available. So I want to spend a little time on that, perhaps more than a little time. On the public safety workforce, I have kind of a niche concern, which maybe people can get into today, but the fact that we now have so few detectives is both a public safety problem and a workforce recruitment and retention problem, because being promoted to detective is one form of promotion that used to be fairly widespread and now is less so. So not only do I think that our residents and businesses deserve more investigation of crimes, I think that the lack of investigative personnel is a workforce problem. So this is an issue that obviously crosses the Public Safety Committee and this committee, but just wanted to bring it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Novick. Counselor Cannell.
Thank you, Chair Smith. I want to express my appreciation for the opportunity to serve on this committee. I'll mention 5 priorities in brief, and this is not exhaustive, but I definitely want to look at city contracts as well, particularly around strategies and planning. In other words, let's not pay contractors to think for us, and I found that city employees can often think very well and plan very well. Promoting a just transition as part of response to the climate emergency. Ensuring that labor peace agreements are included in city contracts. Ensuring that we're modernizing our expectations of workers as it relates to hybrid work, because hybrid work is better for families, for productivity, and for the climate. And finally, in the context of this year's budget cycle and a tough year, I want to be sure that we're not making our rank and file workers bear the brunt of budget cuts. There's a lot of ways that we can dig into that. I do want to dig in on the public safety specific workforce ideas, and my co-chair on the Community and Public Safety Committees, Councilor Novick, and I are completely in alignment on the detectives issue, but I look forward to that in future parts of today's agenda. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Counselor Cannell. Counselor Dunphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to reflect everything back I've already heard from all my colleagues. I'm excited to be working with this group. I have spent my career learning from a couple of incredible labor leading elected officials, both U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley and Portland City Commissioner Nick Fish, and I hope to continue their legacy here. There are at least 4 specific policy areas that I'm really interested in making sure we dive into that haven't been mentioned yet. First, I would like this body to have a deep dive into the Regional Workforce Equity Agreement and understand all the working parts of it, how it's going, how it isn't working, and to make sure that we have a solid understanding of what previous councils have already established for our work going forward. I have seen in my life, in my neighborhood, in my career, how the demonization of the trades has led to bad outcomes for especially low-income students who are never going to be going to college. We've told generations of children that the only way to find a career worth dignity is to go to get a degree with the equivalent of a mortgage. I'm really interested in making sure we are talking about certified apprenticeships and opportunities for non-college career pathways, especially for East Portland. I'm interested to know how the governor's executive order on project labor agreements aligns with what the city is currently doing and whether or not there are opportunities for us to learn from what the governor has done. And last, this is a late breaking issue, but I've learned that as part of the government transition here, the fair wage policies in Title III are apparently no longer part of code. And I'd like to know more about what happened there. And that's all for now. Everything else my colleagues already said.
Thank you, Councilor Dunphy. I really appreciate your comments and all the councilors' comments today. We'll move on to the next agenda item. Keelan, could you please read agenda item number 2?
Bureau of Human Resources top issues concerning retirement and hiring needs over the next 10 years.
Can I bring Tracy up to the dais? Tracy Warren, Director of Human Resources. I believe that this committee should be assisting our bureaus in ensuring that we have qualified folks working in city government. But first, we need to find out why we have such high vacancy rates. For example, the city has an overtime budget of $50 million, and that just blew me away. There was a news report on that a couple of weeks ago. I would like our committee to lead an effort to create a pipeline for skilled and knowledgeable folks to fill those open positions, especially the ones difficult to fill, Tracy. And I believe we have 855 FTEs. That's the last report that I saw in terms of city bureau-wide. So Director Warren, I believe you're leading this presentation, so I will turn the dais over to you.
That's correct. Thank you, Councilor Loretta Smith.
Yes.
Good morning, councilors. How are you this morning?
Good morning.
It's great to see you. I'm just going to take a few moments
Okay.
to put our presentation up, and then we'll walk through it.
Okay, perfect. And who do you have sitting by your side?
I'm sorry about that. I have with me our senior analyst who supports me with data.
Okay.
This is Carol Cruzon, and she's here to answer specific questions related to data should they come up.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And for the public, I do want to apologize for not having any public testimony this afternoon. We were trying to build up a packed agenda, and we needed some more space. So, but in the next committee, we will have public comment. So please forgive us. It was something that was an oversight. There is some dead air time. And as you know, in TV, 1 second of dead air time feels like, 10 years. But there we go. Thank you so much, Tracy. Go ahead.
This is actually the wrong one. I apologize.
I don't know any jokes, and I don't do math in public, and that's why Tracy is here today. She's gonna give us all the numbers and everything, and that would be a joke if you got me to counting and talking about numbers. That's why we have Carol and Tracy here today.
All right. Good morning. So for the record, my name is Tracy Warren. I'm the HR Director for the Bureau of Human Resources. Today, I plan to share with you data related to retirement eligibility, as well as how that may impact key positions across the city for the next 10 years. We'll spend quite a bit of time in the data, and I'll leave a little bit of opportunity at the end for us to just have some open discussion.
Perfect.
All right. Today, we're going to cover citywide turnover, employees projected to retire over the next 10 years, the demographics of those employees who are eligible to retire in the next 10 years, and then citywide vacancies. Up first is citywide turnover rates between fiscal year 2016 to fiscal year 2024. What you'll notice is that you have two bar lines there. One is the overall turnover rate for the city, and then the smaller, lighter blue color is that of those who left the city because they retired. So what you'll notice is that the city has been fairly consistent with its turnover rates over the past 10 years, with us typically hovering somewhere between 8 and 9 to 10%. You will also notice that we had a little bit of an increase between fiscal year 16, 17, and 18 of folks who left due to retirement. And then we kind of took a little bit of a dip towards 2020 with many people choosing to kind of hunker down through the pandemic and wait to see how things would pan out before making decisions to leave. And then you'll see that we start to level out again with a pretty steady rate of retirements happening at about 1 to 1.5% related to retirement. We're going to talk about citywide employees eligible for full retirement. So this, I want to caveat the data a little bit in that we took some employee groups out of the data so that it didn't skew our information. So for example, we took out casual employees, temporary employees, limited duration employees, which shrunk our total population of employee group that we're comparing to for eligible for retirement. The reason that I remove those folks from the data is because the nature of their position with the city is that it is temporary and they could leave at any time depending on the assignment that they're in.
But we will need to recruit for them and train them, correct?
Potentially.
Potentially,
Yeah,
okay.
potentially. It depends on the projects in which they're involved in, what the city makes as priorities in which we need to staff up in particular areas, but we don't have budgeted funds for by way of FTE or positions.
Okay,
So
thank
for
you.
example, you know, there may be a new law that takes effect or a new initiative or project that the council would like to pursue, but it's past the fiscal budget period, and we need to staff up quickly to meet those demands. And so we may choose to use temporary, casual type employees or limited duration to do that work. There's also other situations, but that's kind of a
Right,
primary.
Thank you. Yes.
Just a quick question. I cannot see the axis in the Zoom. I don't know what the units are for the bars or the, can you just
Right.
describe those?
Absolutely. So we have one column bar for before 2025. And so you're going to notice that that's the largest bucket of employees who are eligible to retire. That means 384 or 7.7% of our workforce is currently eligible to retire right now. And they have chosen not to do so. I should also state that eligibility assumptions were made based on years of service at the city and age. And so depending on their particular situation, they may not be fully eligible to retire. It could be that they didn't have any prior PERS experience, and so they're waiting a longer period of time to leave. Additionally, just because someone is eligible, as you can see within that first bar, that doesn't mean that they will choose to retire. So then from there on, what you have is increments of 1 year by calendar year for 10 years out of what we might see happen related to retirement based on who we think will be eligible for full retirement.
Tracy, two quick questions, I'm sorry. Of employees who are eligible to retire, on average, how many actually do end up retiring in a year?
That's one of the tricky pieces that we weren't able to gather before this session, but we will work towards it and provide it with your offices. Unfortunately, we don't have direct access to data from our PERS system to be able to say, okay, of who we projected would retire, how many of them actually did retire? And then how many retired based on full retirement eligibility versus how many retired early?
Okay, if counselors want to speak, you can put your hand up, and if you don't mind, Tracy, in instances like this, if you could answer the questions in real time. If you raise your hand, folks, I will call on you. Trust me.
All right, thank you. All right, now we're going to discuss retirement eligibility by service area. So we'll start with the service area of the Office of the City Administrator. This is a smaller office, but what you can see from this chart is that 25.4% of the work group in the City Administrator's office will be eligible to retire over the next 10 years, with currently 7 folks in that office eligible to retire now. There is a total of 36 employees. And not, let me caveat that, not total employees eligible for full retirement. So this table is more specific to the types of roles where we see the highest number of folks within that office that are eligible to retire. I'd make special mention of legal assistants, city attorneys, and paralegals. Those do require specialized skills and knowledge where you would likely want to think about where your talent pipeline is going to come from, the availableness within the labor force, and then how you would acclimate them to the city once you were to hire them. Specifically, you can see from the data, one column is the job, one column is the employees in the job, total number, and then the next column over is employees eligible for retirement by the end of 2034 to give you a big picture perspective. And then what you'll see in the next 2 columns is that we've broken it out into 5-year buckets, so that you could see respectively how they will transition out of the workplace and how much time the city would have in between to calibrate and ensure that we have skilled folks to do that work. This next slide is in relation to key positions within the city, and specifically for the city administrator's office. So these are roles in which we either have a single incumbent or one incumbent, and they're in leadership roles, and you need to be thinking about potential succession planning and how you will plan for the future in these types of roles. So city administrator, a director, 1, a deputy director, 1, an incident command manager, and an operations director. So these are high-level positions working within the city administrator's office that could leave between now and 2034, and then on those bubbles, I have the year in which they would be eligible for full retirement.
Thank you.
Then we have the Office of the City Auditor. The Office of the City Auditors, as you know, is independent, and they have the ability to set their own policies and rules related to their workforce. The Bureau of Human Resources does assist the Auditor's Office upon request with some of their HR activities. I won't spend a lot of time talking about the Auditor's Office, as they may have different thoughts and perspectives that they would want to share with the council. What you can see here is the Office of the Auditor roughly has 15.6% of their workforce that would be eligible to retire over the next 10 years. This breaks down in more detail the Office of the City Auditor in the same way that I did the City Administrator's Office, and that it's highlighting specific job classifications in which we will see larger numbers of folks retire within their office over the next 10 years. I would make special mention of the hearings clerk, where you can see that it's a relatively small group of employees, and they would all be eligible to retire over the next 10 years. Moving on to Budget and Finance Service Area. The Budget and Finance Service Area has roughly 67 employees who would be eligible for full-time or for full retirement. That's roughly 24.7%. What you'll notice is that the largest group of employees by year is where we're at now. So we have currently 21 employees in budget and finance service area who are eligible to retire. And then, you have smaller groupings as you move through the years, with the next largest group at 8 in 2032. On this table, again, we're breaking down job classifications in which you will see the greatest number of employees retire over the next 10 years, potentially. I would make mention of the revenue tax specialists as well as the analysts. The analyst 2 classification is a broad classification, so these folks are doing a myriad of work across the city related to analysis within the budget and finance service area. And then the revenue and tax specialists, again, being the second. Budget and finance service area, single or low incumbent leadership positions. Again, you have a director, you have the city treasurer. This is a very important role to the city, as you know, and that current incumbent would be eligible for a full retirement in 2032. Similarly, in budget and finance, you have the controller, who is currently eligible, the risk manager, the investment officer, and then manager 3. Now we're at the city operations service area. There's a total of 196 employees who would be eligible to retire, 34.7% of their work group. Currently, the largest bucket is who is eligible to retire now, which is 57 employees. So about a third of the folks that are eligible could go now. And then with your second largest group in 2033. The city operations service area, this is a breakdown again of the higher job classifications that we'll see the highest level of folks retire potentially. You have the vehicle and equipment mechanics. Again, this is a specialized skill in the trades, which may be an area of interest that we would want to think about how we're building relationships, continuing to build upon the relationships that we already have, to have apprenticeships and other types of training programs to lead into these roles. And then the other mention I would give is for information systems. You'll notice that there's quite a few technology roles on this list. And as you know, technology is always evolving and transforming, and it would be important for us to be thinking about how technology that we implement within our city plays a role in who we are likely to see in talent in the future, right? So when you're looking to the incoming workforce, they are looking for different types of technologies and tools to do their work. And so, I'm sure all of you know, but as a government employer, we tend to lag in technology with the public sector as well as what's being trained in universities. This is the city operations service area that talks about the key positions that are either single incumbent or low incumbent leadership positions. So you have manager, you have the real estate portfolio manager, you have the information security manager, information systems manager, and again, another information systems manager. So heavy on the technology side. Community and Economic Development Service Area. So this group has about 185 employees who would be eligible for full-time or for full retirement benefits over the next 10 years. That's roughly 34.5%. with the largest group currently eligible to retire now, with 48. And then you see the second largest group in 2034 at the end of the 10-year span. But you will notice that there are subsequent larger years in this grouping. And again, every day that the first bucket chooses not to retire, that will move into the following years, which increases the number of employees eligible to retire as folks continue to move forward. This is the table showing the job classifications that will see the greater number of retirements. You have development services technicians, you have combination inspectors, and supervisor twos and building inspectors. So these are folks who are inspecting buildings, residential sites, and other locations, development services. These are folks who are doing permitting type work. And then again, you have director 2 level positions. It looks like you have a couple year spans where folks will be retiring. You have engineering managers, you have principal planner, manager 3s, and then engineer 3s. Now we're to the public safety service area, and we're going to focus on non-sworn. You have
Could we go back for just a second? I believe Councilor Duffy
Yeah,
has a question.
thank you. Just to be explicit about it on the record, the Community Economic Development Service Area, we're not including Prosper Portland employees because they have a separate HR system, right? Even though they are broadly within the Community and Economic Development Service Area, this does not include those, right?
Thank you, Councilor Dunphy. That's correct. It does not include Prosper Portland.
I was thinking it was.
Public safety service area, we're going to focus on non-sworn. You have lots of talented public safety folks sitting behind me who are going to give you much more detailed information later in the agenda. So I'm going to keep it very high level and speak only about non-sworn. So what you will see is we have a total of 141 employees who would be eligible for retirement over the next 10 years. That's roughly 23.5%. You'll notice again, largest bucket with the current year of folks who are eligible to retire now within that system, with the second larger in 2029. This is the classifications where we will see the largest number of folks who are eligible to retire over the next 10 years. We have supervisors, public safety support specialists, emergency communications dispatchers, senior police administrative support specialists, senior, and so on. Public safety service areas, single or low incumbent leadership positions who will be eligible to retire over the next 10 years. You have the deputy city administrator, you have public information manager, and then you have the emergency communications supervisor too role. All right, moving on to public works service area. So the public works service area, as you know, is one of our largest service areas. They have a total of 650 employees who will be eligible to retire over the next 10 years, roughly 31.3%. We currently have the largest bucket now available for retirement with 167 moving, fairly repetitively at about the 50 per year mark, moving in over the next 10 years with the largest amount at the end of that at 2034.
Tracy, my concern with that 167 number is that we just recently learned that the BES director and the water director will be retiring. And as in many cases, people follow their leaders. And if 167 of these folks decided to follow those two leaders, we're in big trouble.
We will have some work to do, yes, to fill those gaps and ensure that services continue. Absolutely.
And just quickly, do you know if any of those folks have informed you if they're going to be retiring? Because we get the leadership, but we don't find out about folks who are working in the individual bureaus.
I have not heard of any uptick at this moment in folks retiring from that service area or those respective bureaus.
Thank you.
This goes over more detail of the public works service area specific to job classifications that are within those buckets that we just looked at. As you can see, the largest group of employees who could be eligible to retire are utility worker twos. That is a group in which we would want to ensure that we are thinking about where we're going to recruit and hire and get that talent, and how we're building connections with community related. Again, same is true for the automotive equipment operator 1, and then you have the rest of those positions. So what you'll see here, again, are those single or low incumbent leadership positions. You made mention of the two directors. You will see a director bubble there because they were in that grouping. We have survey manager, laboratory manager, comms engineer. I'm not certain. Communications engineer, sorry about that. Deputy director 3, and then accounting supervisor. Now for Vibrant Community Service Area. They have a total of 171 employees who will be eligible to retire over the next 10 years. That's 22.4%, with, again, the largest bucket existing currently with 45 employees eligible to retire. And then the second largest buckets in 2030 with 23, and then in 2033 with 22. For classifications, you have the supervisor 1 and utility worker 1. So we just talked about with public works service area, utility workers, you're seeing a similar trend with the Vibrant Community Service Area with utility worker 1s, in that they are another larger group that will retire over the next 10 years. You have manager 3s, mapping and GIS supervisors, business systems analyst 3s. Again, that's an area that is typical of technology that we need to be thinking about. Manager 2, and then supervising planners. Any questions related to the service areas before I move on to employee demographics? Because I'm going to switch back to just a citywide overview.
Questions? No.
What you have in front of you are a couple of pie charts. The top are the employees eligible for full retirement by 2034, with gender on one pie chart and race and ethnicity on another pie chart. Just below that, what you have are current active employees as of February 1st, 2025. The reason that I grouped these together is because I wanted you to be able to see how those demographics are proportionate to our current workforce. What you'll notice is that they're fairly on par with one another, in that we will see about the same percentage of folks eligible for retire in which represent that group overall. It's a smaller number, right? But you're going to see folks leave proportionate to how we're spread out now. And so I think what that helps to represent is that we need to be thinking about as a city, how we're going to continue to invest in outreach efforts that look to attract talent from diverse communities so that we can ensure that we continue to have representation that enhances and enriches our community, our programs and services, as well as our decision-making. Any questions?
Yes. Okay, Tracy, thank you so much for that presentation. That was very enlightening and inspiring of the opportunity that, that is before us. And I'd like to call on Councilor Green. What's your question? Go ahead.
Thanks, Madam President. So on the slide, the employee demographic slide with the pie charts, thank you. I'd just like to understand a little bit. So the top row is basically saying this is our current crop of folks that would retire in 2034 or be eligible for retirement in 2034. So these are people who've been in their careers for a while, and they were hired a long time ago, basically, or they've been in tenure for a while. And what I note, and then so the bottom row is it just a snapshot of everyone active? I guess I don't know the difference between the bottom row and the top row.
Yeah, the top row is just that. It's a subset of the bottom chart. So the top is a subset of employees who will be eligible for retirement over the next 10 years. The bottom chart is all of our current active employees minus those groups of employees that I excluded from the data. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a good comparison, but so that does not include like casuals, temporary, limited duration folks.
Great. So one takeaway from this is that we have improved on diversity and inclusion. We got a ways to go, I think, and so we need to be intentional about that.
Absolutely, Councilor Green. I think that we've made efforts over the years, but we can't let our foot off the gas pedal, if you will. We need to continue those efforts and continue to look to diversify our workforce.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Cornell.
Thank you. And thank you, Tracy. Also on this slide, I would love to see in the future information on who's eligible now for retirement to kind of see if that trend continues in the reverse, as well as the city population as a benchmark. Or if you'd prefer the metro area, I'd love to know what BHR looks at as the benchmark for that, and whichever of those that you use. And then separately, if it'd be possible to get it disaggregated so we can look at the intersectional aspect of this. Are we seeing a difference between gender within a racial group, for example? That'd be helpful to know. I don't expect you to have that off the top of your head right now. And then right at the beginning, you mentioned that you took casual employees, limited duration, et cetera, out of a lot of this data. And I understand why you took casual employees out. Historically, we've seen some usage of limited duration positions as a way of creating positions that were really needed, to be long-term, regular term, and then later converting those over. Are those positions captured in this because they've already been converted over if they're still here?
Absolutely, Councilor Canal. So if they were limited duration or limited term, and then we converted it to regular, it would be considered regular FTE, which is in this data.
And so when you did the modeling that you mentioned at the beginning, where you looked at years of service, are you including those limited duration years?
We are not.
Okay.
I don't.
I'd actually say we're using all of the years of service that they've had since their initial city employment date. So,
got it.
So we have the best understanding as we can get of when they started their work with the city, and just to the present time or to the time when they would be projecting to retire. We're just doing the math there.
Okay, so that's, as one of those employees I formerly, it's nice to know that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Canal. Councilor Dunphy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to level set on here, the folks who are eligible to retire now, assuming we're retiring under the PERS system, would folks who are retiring now be which tier of PERS are they retiring under? And when do we see that next tier of folks becoming, I don't really understand how those things work as it relates to this. And then a further question, is there a benefit under the retirement system to delaying your retirement? And like, is there are there trends in that, do you know?
Yeah, I think I'll let Carol kind of fill in some information, but I think one of the things, Counselor Dunphy, that would be important to point out is that because we don't have the specific PERS data, there are missing pieces to the data for us, and that we don't know when someone comes to the city if they had prior service in another jurisdiction that is also part of the PERS system. So they could look like to us that they are not eligible to retire yet based on years of service. And so in those cases, maybe we're looking at age. Additionally, there's the factor if someone did not have prior PERS service, but they came to us a little bit later in their career, they may be staying longer so that they could retire with full benefits at the city of Portland. So there's a lot of little caveats, and we did our best to just try to make it as clean and simple as possible for this presentation, but we could definitely spend more time getting you all information and data. I do want to revisit one thing that Councilor Canal talked about as far as aggregate data. The city does have a workforce demographics dashboard, and we more recently, which has not been sent to councilors yet, but will be soon, created a dashboard that allows for councilors to kind of dig into the data a little bit more and play with it through filters. So we will get that out to you soon, and then you all can help us revise those things by telling us what you feel is missing and where we might be able to add in additional pieces.
Counselor, we're 2 minutes over and we're going to have to wrap this up. This was great. This was exactly what I wanted to hear from you, Tracy. And thank you, Carol, for coming as well. Can we get ready for our next agenda item for number 3? And I want to have Elizabeth Perez come up.
Thank you, councilors. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Sorry. Item 3, public safety, top workforce needs and priorities.
Thank you.
Counselor, did you want to read 3 and 4 together?
I did not, but I know we have it in the agenda to read 3 and 4. I asked them to desegregate that, but in the effort of saving time, would that be helpful to do 3 and 4 together?
That would be wonderful.
Okay, perfect.
Item 4, Bureau of Emergency Communications, top workforce needs and management of past staffing crises.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair Smith, Vice Chair Green, and esteemed members of this committee. My name is Elizabeth Perez. I am the Enterprise Services Director for the Public Safety Service Area. So thank you for inviting us to speak today. Next slide. Today, I am joined by leaders in public safety. We have our business services team, leadership from Portland Police, Portland Fire, and the Bureau of Emergency Communications, to give you a brief overview of some of the opportunities and challenges facing public safety today. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Ken Lee, Business Services Manager for Public Safety.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, councilors. My name is Ken Lee. I'm the Business Services Manager for the Public Safety Service Area. I'm glad to be here and thank you for having us today. Next slide. So the first chart is a busy chart, and so I'm going to spend a minute here just kind of walking you through our overall vacancies in the service area. So I'll start from the left to right. If you look at the left-hand column, you'll see the various bureaus there, BOEC, PFNR, which is Fire and Rescue, Portland Police, the DCA's office, and PBEM. The one note I'll have for the DCA's office, it includes community safety programs such as Portland Street Response, Ceasefire, Office of Violence Prevention, Safe Blocks, PSEP, FitCog. And so there's just a smattering of community safety programs within that office. We then broke it out by position type. Basically, generally, it's more of a sworn versus non-sworn, with the exception of like BOIC. We separated it out by dispatcher/call taker versus non-dispatchers. And then on the DCA's office in PBEM, you can see they're mostly non-sworn professional staff. Okay. The third column is our authorized regular FTE. This is what we're funded for. Over 2,226.5 FTE that we're funded for across the service area. The next column over is also limited term FTE. We have 67 of them across the service area as well that are funded. You'll see the note at the bottom there. It says limited term positions can be created or expire outside of the budget process. So sometimes this is a moving number. The next column over is how many filled positions do we have against our authorized? We have 2,136, and you can see across the service area where those numbers reside. And then the final column here, the vacant FTEs that we have currently. As of February 1st, we have 151.5 across the service area. The majority of them are in PPB. As you can see, there's 86 sworn positions that are vacant, then there's one PPA non-sworn, and then the rest of them are professional staff, about 40.5. Of that 40.5, 20 of them are from the records division, and so we can talk about that a little bit more when we get to the PPB section. And then I'm not going to steal Director Kazi's thunder. You can see of the vacant BOIC dispatchers there. He'll have a story to share with you a little bit later on what's going on with his vacancies, but that's just a brief overview. Quick snapshot of the service area. Next slide. So we wanted to just kind of give you a picture of historical retirements and separation, and we're doing it by bureau. So this does get a little bit into the details a little bit, but you can see versus the various colors there. You can see at the very bottom by year, you can see the PPA retirements. The dark blue, and then the next one up are just PPA separations that are non-trainee. And you can see it's particularly large in fiscal year 21, and then it sizes down in 22, 23, and continuing on. And then the third color, the light blue, is PPA separations. That's specifically for our trainees. So when we hire them on, they go through an 18-month probationary period. Not all of them make it through, and so you'll see some of the separations from there. And then the next color up, you're going to get into the fire retirements and separations. And then on top of that, you'll see BOIC and BOIC trainee separations. The first comment on to the box on the right there, fiscal year 21 had double the normal average separations. That's when we were going through a period of demonstrations in the city. The second bullet there, average annual separations are increasing with mobile pensions. So with police and fire, they used to be their retirement used to be funded by FPD&R up to 2007. After 2007, it transitioned to PERS, and we get a lot of lateral transitions from our city to other agencies within the state that offer PERS. So their pensions are now mobile or portable, and so which is why you'll see that it is easier for folks to lateral out to other agencies. The last bullet here, high percentage of trainees for BOIC and police do not reach certification. It is a strenuous process. I'm sure they will talk about it as they go, BOIC and police go through their own presentations, but yeah, there's a number of them that fall out during the process as we kind of explained. With that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Ryan Wojcicki, to talk about some more details around retirements for PPA and PFNR.
Thank you, Ken. Ryan Wojcicki, Public Safety Employee Services Manager.
Excuse me, could we go back for just a sec? Vice Chair Green would like to have a question on the previous slide.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, can you go back one previous slide? I'd like to understand, can you help me understand why the professional staff for the PPB compared to sworn, non-sworn is so high? It seems like a pretty high ratio compared to the other areas, and I'm just curious why that is, and why also such a high rate of vacancies for those professional staff as well.
Sure, yeah. So I mentioned earlier, of that 40.5, half of them are from the records division. That's predominantly a very high turnover type role, and these are entry-level roles that go into the records division. So many times you'll see them promoting out, and so it's a continuous cycle for records. And so Chief Lavelle will talk about this a little bit more in his cycle in terms of what type of efforts that they've made. The rest of the other 20 are just a smattering of admin staff spread across the Bureau that we have vacancies for.
Thank
Okay,
you, Councilor
thank you.
Green. Councilor Canal.
Yeah, and I'll just note on that the volume of records requests that goes to PPB is significantly more than all the other public safety bureaus combined. It's astronomical. I have a question on this one, which is just, but my main question is on the next slide. So for this one, just wanted to ask whether the ProTech represented staffers in PSR were considered professional staff. It just mentions PFFA. So just wanted to kind of trying to clarify that, if they fall under the first or second line under DCA. And then for the next slide, if you could go forward, please. For PSR, are they included under fire for all 5 of these columns or not? Because this talks about responders, and I just want to understand where PSR fits.
So to the first question on the previous slide, that is all of PSR, not just, it's just we called out the PFFA because they intermix between both PFNR and DCA's office in PSR. And then the second question, they would have shown up wherever they were at the time. So looking previously, they would have been in PFNR.
But for FY25 through January, where are they?
They would be in PSSA or DCA's office.
But there isn't a section of that bar for PSSA.
It just
So we'll come back and circle back and give you the clarification on that, Counselor.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can you begin your presentation?
Yeah. So once again, Ryan Wojcicki, Public Safety and Employee Services Manager. In talking specifically about police and fire, we have FPD&R retirement. And that retirement is part of the city charter. And it looks at the past 1 year of service for, when you're retirement eligible. And so it looks at the total earnings in that period. And in some circumstances, in the last 12 months, you can have 27 pay periods. And this is very beneficial because you're obviously dividing 12 months by 27 pay periods of earnings versus 26. So we typically see more employees retire in those months. And most recently, we had one in November. We had 52 employees, which is actually on the next slide. And we have 3 more upcoming months in the next few years, which also happens to coincide with at least 1 per fiscal year. So even though it's a long period between November 2024 and May 2026, each fiscal year, when we're looking at budget, there is a 27 pay period look back. Next slide. And so what we see here is the split between PFNR and PPB retirements and how many people actually retired in those 27 pay period look backs. And really what's eye-opening is that for PFNR, they don't exactly follow 27 pay period look backs. They tend to decide to retire when they want to retire. Even though this last pay period, last 27 pay period, there was more. Overall, PPB does like to follow it, and they are hitting their marks, exponentially here with 45% of those eligible this last time. And then you see that we have even more people who are eligible in the next 2 years. Obviously, the numbers will decrease if people decide to resign, as Ken was talking about, decide to go to another jurisdiction, they could do that as well, and move on when they want to. But so we are expecting some high numbers in the next couple years. Next slide. And we can look at that through this, where we think there's 25 to 40% will opt to retire in the next few 27 period lookbacks. And you will also notice on this slide, even though it's for 10 years, it maxes out because we age out of FPD&R retirements and go into PERS. So that's how that will roll as we go forward. That's it.
Thank you, Ryan.
Oh, yeah, now on to Chief Lavelle.
Thank you, Assistant Chief Lavelle.
Good afternoon, counselors. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here today. And I'm going to start to talk a little bit about the Police Bureau. And for the record, I'm Chuck Lavelle, Assistant Chief of Police, and I run the Services Branch at the Police Bureau. This first slide gives you a sense of our overtime by hours worked. The large portion you see at the bottom covers our backfill for shortages, staffing shortages, and also missions that we run for crime reduction. On average, 30% of our overtime goes to backfill. And then you'll see the next largest portion is for investigations, and that's call outs for our detectives to investigate crimes that happen after hours and things of that nature. You can see over the last 3 fiscal years, these numbers have stayed pretty steady. Next slide. This slide is pretty similar. It just shows you the overtime by hours, but the outlier on this slide is the fiscal year 25 on the right-hand side. That lighter blue portion is our spend for the election response in 2024 for November. Next slide. I'll talk a little bit about our training. Upon hire for our officers, they're on an 18-month probationary period. We try to line up the dates of hire to the academy start dates. Sometimes those dates don't line up perfectly, so we have to assign the recruits other duties in the meantime before they can go to their 2-week pre-academy. They'll do different roles throughout the Bureau until the 2-week pre-academy starts. And at that pre-academy, they'll get any equipment or information that they'll need to be successful at their 16-week basic academy, which takes place at DPSST in Salem.
Chief Lavelle, Vice Chair Green would like to ask a question before you go on.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Assistant Chief. If you go back to the special tracking OT hours work slide. So pay periods 1 through 15, what does that mean?
That's the breakdown. Ken can explain that one.
Thank you, Councilor Green. Pay periods 1 through 15, we're just basing it off of the fiscal year, which starts July 1. And so we have 26 pay periods in a year. So 13 pay periods for the first 6 months. So this will extend through July through the end of December, and then the first 2 pay periods of January.
Okay, but so this is still a full fiscal year?
Not a full fiscal year. It's it's pay periods 1 through 15 for fiscal year 23, 24, and 25, just so we can have an apples to apples comparison.
Okay, that's helpful. So I guess what I'm wondering is, it looks like for these 3 different half of fiscal year looks,
Yes.
you've got basically the same number of overtime hours. I think I calculate 73,492 hours in 23, 73,493 in 24, and 73,493 in 25 as well. So I'm just curious, why are they the same, basically?
Yes, it's very similar. The mix is different. And some of it is dialed towards the way we have our budget structured, right? And so when Chief Day came on, we started doing a lot more proactive mission work to reduce crime. And so you'll see that the crime reduction work, you'll see is the, let's see here, it's hard to kind of parse that out the way that we collect the data, but it's a lot more of an increase versus the demonstration work versus prior years. And so what we'll get into in some detail later for you is, specifically breaking down why we have the overtime we do, but about 30% of our overtime is related to personnel backfill overtime, which is when somebody goes on leave, we have to fill them to fill our minimum shift requirements.
So to be clear, this is basically you're budgeting in an expected amount of overtime.
Yes, we do every
Because
year.
otherwise, I would expect overtime to fluctuate like you see in BOEC and fire based upon like day-to-day needs, but you're budgeting this in.
Correct. And so every year we project out, and we do create a budget for it based on vacancy savings that we know that we're not going to be able to fill some of those positions. And so that's kind of how we march towards our budget, and that's kind of what the chiefs are marching towards.
Okay. So my next question then is, does the demonstrations related overtime, does that eat up part of a budgeted overtime bucket? So does it take away from other overtime expenditures, or is it just, this is unfunded, this is on the top, this just increases our cost? Does that make sense?
Correct. And so right now, we don't have a budget for the unfunded overtime, so that means it's on top. And so the chiefs have to then dial or make the adjustment to meet the overtime targets.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Green. Councilor Canal.
So I'm just going to follow up on that, that the 15,001 hours of overtime for the fiscal year 2025 so far will require a decision by PPB leadership of what else will not be assigned overtime hours. Is that correct, Ken?
Correct, and that'll be in conjunction with the Public Safety DCA as well. And so it'll be an informed decision that they would make.
Okay, and I'll just draw everyone's attention as a comment to the number of arrests that occurred during that demonstration timeframe, which was 0. Thank you.
Thank you, Assistant Chief Lavelle. Go ahead and continue your presentation.
Sure. I'll continue at the 10-week Advanced Academy. So upon graduation and returning to Portland, officers will at one point attend a 10-week Advanced Academy. Well, they'll learn some more Portland-specific things. Basically, at the academy, you learn a baseline, but every jurisdiction does things a little bit different. So at that academy, they'll learn Portland City Code, Portland ordinances, and things that are specific to our jurisdiction. And then there's a 3-week post-academy where officers will get things like their body-worn camera issued. They'll get signed up in our learning management system so they can do trainings online. And they'll also get familiar with our region system, which are our report management system, where they'll write reports. Next slide. A little bit about our recruitment. We have 2 full-time recruitment officers assigned to the personnel division. They work bureau-wide, and they do all types of things like social media, personal contact with recruits and applicants, just to promote the Portland Police Bureau, promote the job and the profession. They attend a lot of community events, law enforcement specific job fairs, things at colleges, military bases, and things of that nature. We do have a cadre of detached recruiters, and we use them to assist our recruiters if we're going to maybe U of O or OSU where we have alumni, we'll bring them along, or veterans when we go to military bases and things of that nature. Next slide. So hiring, currently we're running a monthly hiring workshop. And at that workshop, we'll run our physical abilities course. So potential applicants can come get information from our recruiters. They can talk with our background investigators. They can do the agility portion of the testing there at that same time. And that's been really successful. Prior to that, we were having an open recruitment for maybe a month. Then we'd parse through that list of applicants and then do that over and over. Having it open continuously has really been helpful for us. We work closely with our HR business partners. 2 of them are here with me today, Emily and Christina. And our goal is really to make sure we get that applicant eligibility list quickly and we respond quickly to the applicants so they don't have a downtime or wait time. And we try to assign them to a background supervisor as quickly as possible to get them into the background process. Currently, we're running just under 6 months from application time to hire. Next slide. This slide gives you a sense of the phases that our new recruits go through. Initially, when you get out on the street with a coach or FTO, field training officer, you'll spend the first 4 weeks in the entry phase where you're really kind of observing, learning. There's not much expectation on you at that point other than to watch and learn. Phases 1 through 3, as they progress through those phases, the expectations increase and the responsibilities increase, and they start learning more and doing more about the hands-on job. Phase 4 is broken into 2 parts. The first part, they're working independently, so they're doing all the things that would come with a police call. Their coach is in the car with them in uniform, but they're essentially doing all the police operations themselves.
Are they in uniform too?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the last part of phase 4, it's the same thing, except the coach or field training officer is in plain clothes. So he might appear to, someone on the street as a ride-along or something of that nature. But that is the coach still doing observations, but the expectations on the officer are to fully handle all the police-related duties.
Okay.
And then phase 5, the recruit officer works solo. They're in a car by themselves, taking calls and doing all the normal police stuff. They still have a field training officer, but they don't ride in the car with them. They do evals on them still, but they're pretty much operating independently in phase 5 until their probation ends.
Councilor Connell, did you have a question?
Would it be accurate, thank you so much for explaining this, Chief. Would it be accurate to say that the PPB has the longest and most extensive training program in the state still? I know that used to be the case on the field training side. Is that still accurate?
Probably. We have one of the longer ones. Our advanced academy, we just did shorten it to get officers out on the street a little bit more, but we do have that 10-week advanced academy after, and then the 3.5-week on top of the state academy. Many places just have the state requirements, and that's it.
Thank you. And I think, is it still Captain Pashley at the training division?
No, Captain Pashley's in the personnel division. It's Captain Robinson at training division.
Okay, just want to make sure we shout them out. Thanks.
Thank you.
Councilor Connell, go ahead, Chief.
And this next slide just gives you just an idea of where our officers are currently housed. So right now we have 108 officers who are in the field training program. 18 of them are at the academy right now, DPSST. 11 of them are in the pre-academy. 21 are at the advanced academy, and those are taking place at our training division here in Portland. 10 are in the post-academy, and the other 48 are in one of those phases we just talked about at a precinct working. And as of the 21st, we have 108 currently in FTEP.
Chief, could you also explain what happens at DPSST in terms of being able to schedule a number of folks? Everybody's using them, so
yes,
it does take a minute before you can get your recruits in there.
Yes, and they've done a great job of shortening that time frame. They used to have a big backlog, and they've worked really hard to reduce that, and it's now just usually a couple weeks before we can get someone down there, and that's been really helpful for us.
Excellent.
And I'll talk a little bit about our wellness. Wellness is something that we prioritize at the Police Bureau. We started piloting it officially in 2019. It's institutionalized in our directives, and it's something that the chief and the chief's office is really supportive of. We try to give our officers 1 hour per 10-hour shift to do wellness. It is situation dependent. If there's a critical incident or something of that nature, it may not happen that day. We also partner with OHSU for heart health screening, which is a big issue for first responders. And below are just some of the programs that we offer. All of our precincts have access to a gym or workout facility. And we have a lot of classes, things around mental wellness, social wellness, financial wellness. There's talk of a nutritional wellness class and things of that nature. We have a full-time wellness officer who's constantly looking for things to add to that slate. And last slide. In terms of professional development, we complete a yearly Bureau needs assessment that tries to identify any gaps in trainings or any needs. The state lays out a lot of training for us, but sometimes there's needs for other training really around professional development. Chief Day is very focused on providing leadership training for both our sworn and non-sworn professional staff folks to really prepare them for advancement in the organization. We want to really create pathways for all of our folks to advance and get to where they want to be in their career. Our annual employee evaluations now have an area to document and memorialize any training that you'd like to get in that current year, and it's something we can now track more easily through Success Factors and our other eval platforms.
Thank you.
And I think that's my last slide, and I will hand it over to the fire chief.
Yeah. Good afternoon, counselors. It's an honor to be here. My name is AJ Jackson. I'm the current division chief of our Medical Services and Training Division within Portland Fire and Rescue, and I'll be the interim fire chief beginning March 4th. So next slide, please.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. So just a quick overview here. We have 171 on-duty staff that operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year. That includes 31 stations and 89 apparatus that can be called out depending on the type of emergency that's occurring. With our staffing, we also see on average about a third of our personnel that are on an approved leave, and that can be a variety of things. On the right-hand side, you'll kind of see a graphic of that. So we have our green area is travelers, and that's a group of folks that are used to fill vacancies when those leaves are used. And then the 113 represent straight-time employees. The orange area is where we end up staffing daily using overtime backfill. And just so we kind of have an understanding, the green and the blue sections are both straight time. Orange is on overtime, which is paid at time and a half. I do want to note, 2 years ago, the green section, our traveler pool, was significantly less. And over the last 2 years, we've increased that travelers pool, and it has created a significant year-to-date reduction in our overtime costs. And we will kind of delve into that in another slide. So next slide, please. So this is probably the clearest demonstration of where our overtime is coming from. So 96% of that is equated to filling or backfilling emergency operations staff. And just for that example, so a backfill is, say, for example, on that previous slide, 171 folks on staff, 10 call in for leave. We have to fill those 10 to maintain our staffing. And if we don't have those available bodies in the blue and the green, we're back into the orange in that previous slide. You can see our next largest contributor here is the orange, which is wildland deployments, which are often reimbursed by the state. Next slide. So there's a lot kind of going on this slide, but we'll talk about our overtime and our FTE. And I just want to point out that we recognize in fire that our overtime is an issue and how it impacts the general fund and our budget. I do want to note that we also understand the mechanism for correcting that is through FTE and additional employees. So if we just take a quick look, the dark blue section is our firefighter non-recruits. Light blue will be recruit firefighters going through training. But what I want to do is call your attention to that purple line and that correlation between the FTE, and you're going to see that sharp reduction in the overtime. And when we were able to add those positions, you can see that we added 13 in fiscal year 23, an additional 10 in fiscal year 25, and where we are today is a 19% reduction in backfill overtime. I do want to note that we were not given ongoing funding for those additional positions, that those are being paid for out of cost savings as a result of reducing backfill overtime. So this current fiscal year, we're asking for another 10 additional FTE with the hopes of continuing to lower that overtime backfill rate. And I would say that we're doing a much better job of monitoring those rates. We have a link to our overtime dashboard. I'm sure you have it available, and if not, we can make sure you get a copy of it as well again.
You're gonna ask for an additional 10 firefighters for fiscal year 26, and your sense is that you're going to reduce the overtime pay as a result of it. Are you convinced that you're going to be able to hire 10 folks?
We have, our recruitment slides are coming up, so we can speak to that when we get there, or I can give you a quick summary. So the last few years, and we've spoke about the 27th pay periods, we have been in a hiring pattern every 6 months for the last several years. COVID kind of caused us to have a little blip like many folks, but we've been hiring on an every 6-month schedule for the last several years, and that is projected through 2028. And so we do have some limitations on our class size. We'll talk about that in a future slide. But we're doing everything we can to minimize overtime going forward, which includes additional FTE.
Thank you.
Was there anything else before we move on to the next slide?
No, go right ahead.
Okay, next slide. So some of this has been touched upon. So we know that we have approximately 100 of our members that are eligible to retire in the coming year. If we look at Fire's historical information on retirements, we're expecting approximately 40 retirements. When we go back to the hiring, we're talking about those class sizes. And right now we've kind of pinpointed 16 as our class size. And that is because primarily of facilities and equipment limitations. And so meeting that demand with the resources that we have is where this number comes from. But as I've talked about, we just had our latest hire in January of 2025. Following that 6-month schedule, we're in the process of a recruitment now, and those folks will be hired in July of this year. And we understand that the importance of staying on this schedule and ensuring that we continue to reduce the operational impacts of those vacancies, as well as what that could do to the overtime calculations as well. Next slide.
Yes, could I have Vice Chair Green ask a question, please, before you go on?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So if we're expecting about 40 retirements next May, is that what I read? My question, I guess, it's an outflow versus inflow problem, right? If 16 is the optimal size, how often are we turning over those classes?
So there's a pipeline and there's a slide coming up that we can kind of talk about those phases, but every 6 months ensures that the next group moves and it's that continuous process on. So that's where the 6-month comes. There's about a month break in between to do curriculum reviews, test rewrites, any staff changes that are necessary at that point as well.
Okay. Oh, thanks.
Councilor Cano.
A quick clarification. You mentioned the 10 positions that were added were limited or were not ongoing. You created using ongoing funding, right? So they would be expiring if we didn't add those to the budget, or is that in addition to converting those?
So they weren't funded with ongoing funds. We were given with one of the, I think it was the first 10, we could confirm. We were given some funding to help them get through training, like that training pipeline. And then once they're through, then they start to fill those vacant spots that were being filled with time and a half. So there weren't ongoing monies for those FTEs. It was assumed that they would be paid for with the cost savings from reducing the overtime. And if there's someone from finance?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
They are regular FTEs.
Yeah, they're regular, not a limited term identifier.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that does help. And just colleagues, in July, the next time there is an opportunity to go to the training facility, I would encourage you all to go. I went in January, and I want to underscore the equipment and space needs of that facility as it relates to increasing that 16 number. Thank you.
When we talk about that 16, I mean, some of it is like really bare essentials, like the number of bathrooms available. And when you move to the training stations, not having to use bunk beds in bedrooms and allowing folks to have their own sleeping quarters. So some of it is just the amount of classrooms we have and size and what's comfortable. And then, like I said, the equipment that is then needed to ensure that they're adequately trained.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on, a little bit about our recruitment. We have a 20-week process, and that's when we, meet with HR and we're getting that recruitment announcement open till the point that we have a higher eligibility, higher list available. We have one dedicated FTE that is responsible for not only managing these hiring processes for entry-level firefighter, but is also responsible for all of our outreach efforts. And it's a small but mighty group of one that works really hard to do intentional recruiting and partnership. So our focus is really on those underrepresented groups, and that we've really revamped how we do business when it comes to recruitment and hiring. We've moved to a third-party validated testing group with the intent on reducing the adverse impacts and ensuring we have a fair and accessible testing process for our applicants. I think it's made a big difference in who has access versus, many flights coming here locally where they can go and take this initial written test and the physical abilities test in locations all across the United States. And this individual, as I mentioned, also does our outreach events, whether that's job fairs, community events, cultural events, They are a busy person. Next slide.
Do you have a different strategy today than you've been using before in the past? I noticed that you have a wide range of community organizations and collaborations and partnerships. Did we not have those before? You've been really directing attention towards using those coalitions to build your workforce.
I would say that this has been our approach for quite some time. We've had the one dedicated FTE for several years. For a portion of my career, I was the recruiting officer. And these are the same folks that I worked with then. Some of these relationships have been built over decades. Some of them have been added like in the last 15 years, if you want to talk about like Portland Metro Fire Camp and Northwest Diversity Council, someone like the Urban League, we've been partnering with forever. You know, when I say forever, but years and years trying to build those relationships because they're about building trust. So we have taken that one FTE and really focused on the underrepresented groups and how best to outreach and, you know, foster those relationships and the trust that's built.
And so here's my concern, that you've had like you said, you've had these relationships for decades. If you leave, how are we going to deal with that relationship and brain drain when someone like you, who we only had one FTE, how are we going to be able to get back? Don't you think we need some other folks to be able to have relationships with people in the community so that we can do the recruiting that we need?
100%. And when I say we have one dedicated, we have one recruitment officer. Although for many of the activities or community events we participate in, we grab additional firefighters and we pay them overtime to attend these events because, as you can imagine, one person cannot do all things regarding our testing process and outreach. And that position has changed over time and different people have sat in that seat. And then the division chief that's responsible for kind of overseeing that work, it's critical. We have other opportunities within the Bureau that overlap within, for example, our public education office and the number of outreach events they do. And I'd like to think that all of us that wear this uniform are always keeping an eye out for recruitment and when we meet people and trying to plug the job and what it's about. And so I like to think we have a lot of ambassadors within our ranks, but one dedicated FTE.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So we kind of talked a little bit about this slide and some of the partnerships that we've really focused on over the last several years, if not decades. What you see on the right is where we are in our demographics as of this February. What I would call special note too, as time has gone by, some of our categories that we've tracked have changed, and what we have seen is an increase in our members that identify as multiracial or multi-ethnic. And we've also seen an increase, and that's the lime green section, and also an increase in that maroon section, those folks that are choosing not to identify or preferring not to answer. Those are two where that we've seen a lot, or an increase. And then, although this does not have gender listed on it, you know, that is a, you know, an outreach group that we focus on as well. It's underrepresented in the Bureau. And right now we're sitting at approximately 7% of our workforce are female firefighters. And with that, that's close to double the national average. Next slide. So back to the kind of the training pipeline question that we had earlier. For our training timeline, it's approximately 38 weeks total. We break it down into 3 phases. And with that, I want to say that, you know, we've recognized some of the historical barriers that have been in place for folks that were interested in becoming a firefighter. And we're really intentional in the building of our curriculum and that it is modular and it builds on skill sets as they go through. And I'd like to say that our training staff is well aware of the different learning styles that are in our workforce today and that we are trying really hard to adapt and help our recruits be successful. So when they enter the training academy at phase 1, that's a 40-hour work week. So it includes, you know, just the classroom instruction on the drill ground. When they start with us, they are also assigned a mentor that will be with them through their entire probationary period. Once they graduate from the training academy in phase 1, they move to station 2, which is our dedicated training station in Northeast Portland, where they are supervised, but they begin to answer those calls coming through 911 in addition to continuing their training, but definitely in a more dynamic environment. We see as they move and are coached and as they come to the end of that phase 2, it's at the week 39 point that individual is through the pipeline and able to fill a vacancy out on the line, and one of those backfill, opportunities becomes available. And they finish out their probationary period at the 12-month mark. So it does take time, much like police, that pipeline of hiring and the training timeline. It goes back to the question of how often we hire. It makes a little bit more sense. So when somebody gets done with phase 1 and they move to station 2, we're bringing in the next class. Next slide. So just a quick kind of overview. I like to think of this as kind of like a relay race, and we're passing the baton. So when we start with our outreach and recruitment, and then we go to hiring and training, there's that handoff to ongoing. So we have several health and wellness initiatives that have been bargained with Local 43. We have a large emphasis on our cancer reduction program, our annual NFPA physical that we partner with OHSU. We have a health and wellness fund that's now been established, and both a health and wellness coordinator that goes to the physical health, dietary needs, suggestions to improve overall health. We have our behavioral health coordinator that works with the mental side and how we're doing in our headspace. We've also implemented a rehire program that allows us to help offset some of the effects of retirement, so they can rehire up to a year with the opportunity to ask for a 6-month extension. And they have to give us notice. So that 6-month notice really helps us plan and understand those future retirement and hiring needs. And I would say as a bureau, we recognize that there's ongoing efforts needed to support our workforce. So outside of training, whether that's specialized opportunities for training or promotional opportunities, that we really have to have that continual investment in our employees to ensure that we have the satisfaction and the retention that I think we're looking at as an entire city. So I believe that concludes. If there's any other questions?
Any questions, counselors?
All right.
No questions, but thank you so much. I do want to let you know that I am very impressed with the health and wellness that PPB and what you all are doing as well, because that's important. That's critical to making sure that you have a whole person when they come in contact with community. You have a very dangerous job, and I know that you all need to have those health and wellness initiatives in place to make sure that you can balance yourself out. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'd like to hand it over to Director Bob Cossey.
Well, thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Smith, Vice Chair Green, and committee. It's a pleasure to be here to talk a little bit more about BOEC. Next slide, please. BOEC's recruitment strategy used to focus on funded staffing only. We would really look and see how many vacancies we had, and then try to get to that number. It's now more visionary and focuses on staffing needs inclusive of anticipated attrition, so we look beyond that finish line. As you can see, only 2 years ago, BOEC reached a bottom in staffing with 40 vacancies, about a third of our staff. During those difficult years, we increased recruitments and training academies from 2 to 4 times per year. We also advertised creatively, even using electronic billboards, and you'll see a sample of that on the next slide. And we rode the wave of negative media. Knowing that we would not perform perfectly during our rebuilding phase, we invested in the future by increasing capacity to improve training. When 911 calls increased so dramatically, we canceled training so all certified call takers could answer 911. But that prevented our trainees' progress in police dispatch and fire dispatch training. We were trying to solve a problem with a solution that had a long-term impact. With the restructure, we stopped canceling training, we increased coaching premiums to recruit new coaches, and we paid double overtime so that we could ensure training was never canceled and stayed on schedule. Next slide. It takes quite a while to fill positions, and it starts with the recruitment process. The recruitment process itself takes upwards of 6 months from start to finish, and in most cases, the probationary period lasts until training is complete at the senior dispatcher or full certification level. However, because we train in distinct phases, trainees who are certified in call taking can work independently when they are not scheduled for police dispatch training or fire dispatch training. The same goes for police dispatch certified trainees, and finally, when they're fully certified, the new senior dispatcher is able to work completely independently. Our goal is that the process take about 18 months or less, but during the pandemic, it quickly increased to about 3 years. Training lasted 3 years during that time frame, and we've been able to whittle it down since then to about 21 months. The picture on the right is the recruitment billboard that we had used throughout the city, and you can imagine sitting at a busy traffic light, looking at this billboard and knowing at that moment, and that was a reality, calls are holding, because I could straight face say that at almost any moment of the day. In the BOEC strategic plan, next slide please, initiative number 2 focuses on programs that improve processes and support employee development. Goal number 3 under that initiative establishes career and leadership development, mentorship, and succession planning programs. We implement this goal through the city's yearly evaluation program called Success Factors, in addition to DPSST certifications, the intermediate certification, advanced, supervisory, and managerial opportunities. And we also incorporate stretch goals, such as teaching opportunities at regional and national conferences. In fact, next week, I'll put a plug in right now, next week, the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials, otherwise known as APCO, the Western region is holding a conference, which is basically the western half of the United States, and that conference is here in Portland next week. And BOEC is instrumental in really seeing the success of that conference. I know he's going to be embarrassed, but Deputy Director Steve Maudsley, who's sitting behind me, is the chair of that entire committee overseeing the success of the conference.
Will BOEC be presenting?
We are. We have 4 BOEC employees who are teaching at this conference, including a session that I'm teaching. I have the opportunity to teach it twice, and it's called How Portland 911 Dug Out of the Hole. The wellness wheel on the right side highlights many of our wellness activities and initiatives, including mental health and peer support, physical wellness, and environmental wellness. I'm exceptionally proud of our staff's effort in creating on their own a patio garden, which is quite beautiful. It's adjacent to the break room, and it creates an oasis. If you can imagine sitting on the phone, answering calls and talking to people on the worst day of their lives, sometimes you need to step away and you need some downtime in nature. And that patio provides exactly that. And that's just one example of the many initiatives that we have in our wellness program. Next slide, please. When we bring up the topic of succession, I view it a couple different ways. First of all is what I call, staff succession or our training pipeline. I'm going to go into more detail about this towards the end of our conversation today, but I would like to restate that we have a dedicated subfund that is intended solely for overhiring to stay ahead of anticipated attrition. Leadership success planning is tied to the BOEC strategic plan, as I alluded to earlier. I mentioned that it includes stretch goals that are captured in the city's Success Factors yearly evaluation system. And we view the strategic plan as a regularly used tool that doesn't sit on a shelf. It's not a pretty document that we complete, put it on a shelf for 5 years, and then dust it off. We actually review that document at least every other month in our leadership team meetings. And we have updates in those meetings from strategic champions who are accountable and responsible for specific items written within the strategic plan. So we can see that there's forward momentum. And whenever something is complete, we actually highlight it in green, and we can look at that document and see what we've been able to accomplish. Through that process, we do see significant forward momentum in completing the plan, and we continue to refine our leadership development program. Next slide. Now, I'm giving something away when I say this already, but BOEC Dispatch Operations is fully staffed. Because of that, we're planning to reduce our recruitments back to two academies per year. We can always ramp up if necessary, but our goal is to stay ahead of anticipated attrition, expecting about 6 senior dispatchers to separate each year. That's about what we're averaging, along with about half of our trainees to not make it through training for one reason or another. We performed better in both of those categories so far this fiscal year, certainly, but we do want to look at the average so that we can, again, keep our goal beyond just filling our existing positions and looking beyond that. You can see on the far left side of this graph that we're in an over-hire category with our trainees. In fact, today's a good day. Today, we started an academy that actually filled all of our positions. We have 10 trainees in that academy, and we hired one person who chose to come back to BOEC after leaving a couple years ago. So we have 11 new folks today, and that tips us over.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So looking ahead, you can see as you look to the right that all of those positions will fall above that straight light blue line going across, which means that all of our positions will be filled, and they will be filled with fully certified staff. And we want to be able to keep that trajectory going.
Will you be asking for additional FTEs?
This year, we're not.
Okay.
What we're looking at doing, and I was going to sandwich this into the conversation a little bit later, but we are seeing significant savings in overtime, and we'd like to see that transitioned into permanent FTE. Right now, we have 8 limited term positions. We want to see those become permanent. So, next slide, please. This is more on BOEC overtime. It falls into 4 basic categories: operational, training, committee and policy work, and tactical dispatch. Voluntary overtime, as you can imagine, is the proactive overtime. It's used for backfill. Basically when someone is planning vacation leave or other anticipated types of leave. Forced overtime is required when staff call in sick. And it requires a dispatcher to either come in 2 hours before their shift and stay longer, or stay 2 hours after their shift and ultimately have a much longer day. Training overtime consists of in-service training, which is conducted typically twice a year. And a simulation practice training then is for trainees to be exposed to scenarios that they need practice with for one reason or another. It could be a low frequency, high impact type of call that they're not comfortable with. It could be something that they just need assistance with, maybe childbirth call answering practice or something along those lines. So we actually create simulation in our sim training room that you'll all have opportunity to see if you haven't already. And you can kind of see how we parse out the various areas of our operation.
Before you go forward, I want to take Councilor Green's question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director, I just want to commend you. Thank you for calling out the strategic plan as a tool that you use quite often. I think that's a model behavior, and I think it supports retention. Like, it supports the camaraderie, the focus. Everyone understands that they're rowing in the same direction. I just would like to see that as a practice more consistent across the city. So thank you for leading on that.
Thank you. Rounding this out, many of our staff also provide input on various committees, and they do that on overtime. Those committees interface with our partner agencies, like assisting with the EMS or Emergency Medical Services committee work with some of our partners. And Some of our staff also assist with policy review and policy revision. You know, we don't want to create a policy in an ivory tower and bring it down and expect it to work. We have line-level personnel assisting us in our policy development all the time. And finally, whenever a partner agency needs a dedicated dispatcher for a tactical operation, we provide that service. We don't back charge. We don't charge them for that service. We just cover that with our own overtime budget. Next slide. So this slide is for reference, really showing the increase of overtime during our really difficult years. You can see the spike in the middle there, October, December of 2022. And that really was when things were at their worst, but we had a game plan, and we were beginning to work towards rectifying the solution, or rectifying the problem. On a bright note, if you look at the far right, January matched the overtime we spent way back in April of 2021. So it does appear that we've been able to take our overtime expenditures and hopefully translate them into actual FTE looking forward. Due to better staffing, we're showing progress, and I had mentioned already that we'd like to explore how we can transition those funds into full-time positions. Next slide. This is another perspective on overtime. So you can see the inverse correlation during our difficult years with increased overtime. So the overtime, the purple line, is our overtime expenditures. And you can see the dark blue line, or the dark blue section underneath, is at its lowest. Staffing was at its lowest, followed by overtime at its highest. And as we're increasing staffing, overtime's going down. Next slide. So that brings us to opportunities. You know, as we think about opportunities, I'd like to spotlight what we did with BOEC's training pipeline model. It allowed BOEC to take vacancy savings to fund the future. I mentioned earlier that we had to recognize that while we were rebuilding, we could not provide adequate service. Our call answering times were through the roof. We had record low staffing. It was very difficult, but we knew we had to just muddle through. Keep fighting, keep moving forward, and thankfully we have dedicated staff that was able to do just that. Our goal was to build a system that would stand the test of time so that we would not have to face the dire circumstances that we faced, 2 to 4 years ago. We're now using our training pipeline subfund to build our staffing to overhire positions. Added up, our vacancy savings were similar to providing one-time funding to provide the shot in the arm that BOEC needed. All of our partner agencies, Gresham, Troutdale, Fairview, Wood Village, Maywood Park, Multnomah County, all these agencies that we provide service for as well, agreed that allowing BOEC to retain those funds was a good idea rather than us giving it back to be used elsewhere. The policy decision made by the City of Portland at the time, as well as our partners, allowed BOEC and is allowing BOEC now to stay ahead of anticipated attrition. And now I'll do my best to answer any other questions.
Thank you, Director Cozy. Do any of my colleagues have any additional questions? I just want to say again, I was impressed the first time I heard it, and the reason why I wanted you to come back, because I wanted you to share in this committee as we're looking and reviewing what strategies work and which strategies don't work, and how we need to go forward. So I appreciate you being willing to come back again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Councilor Dunphy.
Thank you, Chair. Director, I am recalling a time in which recruitment was a challenge at BOEC due to, specifically, I'm pulling at straws from 5 or 6 years, or 8 years ago, but having to do with shift preference, and that was a challenge for recruitment as it pertained to a younger workforce, family life balance, things like work-life balance. Is that still a dynamic within your workforce?
Not as much. Really, I talked about the billboards, I talked about the media coverage that we had, getting the word out, and even if it was, frankly, at times embarrassing, having to to speak to how difficult things really were for us. It resonated with our community, and our recruitments skyrocketed. We were averaging very small numbers in a recruitment, and we might get 4 or 5 people in an academy. Now we're averaging 400 plus every time we recruit. And we have more than enough folks. In fact, this academy today I mentioned is 10 folks plus the one previous BOEC employee who came back. We just completed a recruitment for a June academy. Yeah, where are we going to put these folks? Okay, because all of our positions really are filled. Now we expect some of the trainees are probably going to not make it, and we'll have a few vacancies as we get closer to June. But we're still moving full steam ahead, and we know that we need to, rather than, if we have 3 vacancies at that time, rather than have a 3-person academy, we want to try to fill that academy so that we really are ahead. Hope that answered your question. Yeah.
Yes, but also I guess is there still a dynamic where seniority
thank you.
chooses the shifts?
Sorry, I totally missed that part of the question. There is with some people, and we look at work-life balance. A lot of the issue had been for our staff is the sheer number of overtime they were having to work. That impacts your work-life balance for sure. We do have folks, and part of our testing process is very informative and lets them know, hey, this is shift work, and you're going to be coming in a seniority-based system that you'll be working night shift. During training, you're going to be all over the place because we assign you to a coach, and they could be on day shift for a few months and then move to night shift so they can get exposure and work with a different team. So that is a reality. Most folks recognize that when they come in. And we also, through the background process and the psychological evaluation process, make a determination if this is going to have a truly negative impact on that individual. Sometimes folks will come in and they'll feel like yeah, I think I can do it. I don't think it's going to be a problem. And then reality sits in. And that's where some of that 50% turnover in the trainee ranks comes in, is some folks realizing, you know what, shift work is much more difficult than I thought it would be. It's harder to learn in the middle of the night. I don't feel like I'm on my A game and I'm not performing the way I should. So that's where we would see some of that attrition. It still is a reality, but in general, we educate folks a lot up front.
Councilor Novick, do you still have a question?
Actually, yeah, I just had a question for Chief Jackson. Sorry. I had a question for Chief Jackson going back to the math issue that Councilor Green mentioned. I don't think I grasped the answer. If you expect 40 retirements next May, about a year out, and you're doing recruitments every 6 months and it's 16 apiece, does that mean you're worried about being 8 short next May?
I think we have a little bit of the same issue. So not all of our trainees are successful, but right now, and we've in the past tried to up that number from 16. We've gone as high as 22, but as I mentioned, we're really limited by some of our facilities constraints and equipment. That's the every 6-month hiring schedule that we've been committed to has started back in probably 22, like right on the edge of COVID. So we have been doing the same pattern, and we're hoping that the math works out. Like, it's the best we can do. We know we could be a little short. It's our best guess if 40 goes. It happens to be that there's another 27th pay period in 2027, and that's also the last year of the contract that also has incentives financially for folks to stay for that full contract. So it's a guess, you know, if we're looking at historical data, you saw some of it previously in the slide, I believe that Ken Lee provided, but we are trying to march ahead. We've looked at some creative ways. Up until a couple of years ago, we've never done a lateral recruitment, so we tried to, you know, springboard on somebody else's experience, bringing some certifications and prior knowledge. So we have gone down that path. We've done a couple lateral recruitments that have shrunk the timeline down for us, and that's an option going forward. We have a lateral recruitment out for paramedics right now because of the shortage within the Bureau, and that's nationwide as well. So we're looking at ways to be creative to try to shorten that pipeline. We also did a curriculum review and narrowed down and reduced the total time at training to get folks out filling those seats sooner. So all things are on the table, and we're definitely willing to be creative and look at what other solutions might be available to us as we move forward.
Thank you.
Councilor Canal, we have questions for 1 minute before we close.
More of a desire for future things, and thank you to Ken and your team and Elizabeth, Director Perez, sorry, for all of the work and maybe for the future. I'd love to hear about the similarities and differences with the other parts of the public safety system, especially as it relates to the wellness programs, which are really great at PPB and at Fire and at BOEC. And I want to see how that plays out and how we can support the rest of the public safety system too. And I think that's the only thing that needs to get said that hasn't already been, so I'll stop here. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor Canal. I just want to say thank you to all the presenters, and I would also like to thank our guests joining us in council chambers and watching online. But I would ask you, let us work together to forge partnerships between educational institutions, local businesses, and community organizations to build the next generation of workers and a pipeline of talent that will be exposed to a robust training and internship program. Because I truly do believe that by investing in our future workforce, we can ensure that Portland City government remains a hub of innovation and opportunity. And if I leave you with anything today, is that we have opportunity at the City of Portland, and I want everybody to know it. And so you all were great today, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're adjourned.